the country's GDP and remains a key source of employment, especially for women, young people, and vulnerable groups, despite the critical role they play in the economy. The sector are frequently confronted with market imperfections, including difficulties in accessing credit. Stanley Nyaringita examines the sector's performance in this exclusive interview with Principal Secretary Susan Mang'eni.
Maybe if I were to give a scorecard, I will look at 3 years. What have we achieved in the last 3 years? I mean, we've been able to translate the commitments, because there are quite a number of commitments that we laid forth when we came to the office. The first one was decriminalizing work, recognizing all types of work that exist in our economy and seeing how do we then decriminalize them, how do we support them, those various workers or traders, the small-scale traders, the hawkers, the border in the transport industry to coexist with other actors in our spaces, and so that then they can drive, their trade can grow and drive a living out of it. And you can bear me witness that unlike before, when we were being treated from every time with running battles in major cities and urban areas of hawkers, borders, being seen as if they are disorderly, I think that is now coming down because of that advocacy around every authority to recognize that those small business players are the ones who are holding our economy. And therefore, instead of us really having these running battles, it is good to designate good working spaces and trading spaces for them and support them to formalize. And as they formalize, they also become more helpful in terms of contributing to the economy, because when they participate in the economy, that's how the economy grows. They are purchasing things, They're also doing transactions here and there. And above everything else, the kind of work which they do, it is a livelihood to them. That border who operates in the city center, that's where they drive their needs, for example, their housing needs, their food, take care of their household and other basic needs. So it is like, supporting them to achieve a certain livelihood, especially in a space where we are deprived of jobs for majority of our population. Hawkers, again, you've seen, we are not having so many incidences of eggs, of, smokies and everything being spilled over, because I think we come to that understanding that they're very critical. Instead of us now seeing them as a havoc, as being chaotic, it is good for us to reorganize them. And one of the things that has emerged from there, now recognizing that piece of work is now informing even how we develop our cities, how we're developing our urban areas, how the new and major roads that are coming up, we are talking to the developers to ensure that the designs also gets to recognize and appreciate the spaces needed by the small traders and to exist. Because if we do not leave space for them, then it means they'll be forced to get into spaces of other also road users or then actors, and that's how then we end up having some sort of disorderlies in our city centers that looks chaotic and not so pleasant. So we experience and just hammering it down that these people are very critical to the economy. Start looking at them as an opportunity and as strategic partners in economic development has brought that kind of an understanding, and everybody now is looking at how do we coexist with them in a very orderly manner.
Do you think the future of even the Hustler Fund is bleak, having in mind that in itself the design it's a revolving fund? Yes, it's a revolving fund. If Stanley borrows and pays, then Stacy can be able to also repay, and if Stacy borrows and pays, then Mike can also get it. It revolves around that. But then the number of defaulters is high at the moment, and you could also tell us what amount is as well.
The personal loan product, we injected in about 14 billion. Actually, I've injected in the fund a total of 14 billion. We have disbursed today as we speak on the Hustler Fund 82 billion. We have revolved it to the portfolio of 82 billion to almost 28 million Kenyans. And you can borrow, nowadays you can borrow from 100 shillings to up to 150,000. On the personal product, you can borrow up to 50,000, but you earn the credit, the limit enhancement. When you borrow and you repay, you earn, you increase your limit. And I'll tell you why that is there. And then we introduced the bridge product today, which is more like business focused. And they're doing extremely good because people now who have migrated or rather graduated to the bridge product, these are people who have demonstrated good credit behavior. We have about, let me tell you, we're talking about how to work out our economy. I don't want you so much to care about those that have not, those who have defaulted. Why I really do not want you to care so much about that is that this default was a legacy issue. Right. This is very much historical. The Hustler Fund today is doing extremely better than even some of the financial institutions. Nyota number 1 is a job creation pipeline. Okay. And this is a very massive job creation pipeline that we have in our economy that is targeting to empower the most vulnerable and marginalized young people there at the grassroots. Yes. It's a scale-up project from the previous Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities Program, which was KYOP, that ran between 2018 to 2022. At the end of it all, when we saw the success stories, then they informed the extension of this project, and that's how we scaled up to Nyota. Now, Nyota talks about opportunities. It's actually national youth opportunities towards advancement, creating opportunities for young people through skilling and also through business support, modeling them into entrepreneur. So it has 2 pathways for job creation. The first pathway is where we aim to enhance youth employability. And again, who are we targeting? Youth between 18 to 29 years who must not have, and up to 35 for persons with disability who did not go beyond the secondary education. We are looking at the most marginalized who lacked opportunities. But of course, they're human beings, they have to coexist, they have needs, so they have to be supported. So again, also in line with the bottom-up approach, we say let's begin. The best way to sort out our economy is also to begin addressing people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. So how are we enhancing the employability? Through 2 tracks. The first one is recognition of prior learning. We already have an existing policy that recognizes the existing skills which were not acquired through the formal education system. For example, you can be a very good plumber, but you never went into a formal school, in a formal college to do that. Maybe you learned, you acquired these skills just from the environment in which you are in. Maybe your parent, maybe your neighbor was doing this kind of jobs and you observing, and they also partaking it in terms of supporting here and there. And with time, you became now an expert. What you're lacking, what is standing in between you and accessing a job, like a very good job, competitive job in the market, is that certification, is that paper, is that accreditation and stuff. So what do? We come in this project, so we reach out to you, we identify such kind of young people with those kind of skills and talents, and then they're taken through an assessment, NITA, their various skill sets, and then they're certified. You're given a certification. You're given certificate. This certificate opens for you the door, so you are considered as, almost like someone who went through the formal education, because now your existing skill sets have been certified. that particular track, we are looking forward to benefit 20,000 young people across the country, because now Nyota is scaled up to, it's a scale up to, and targeting all the wards. It's being conducted at the ward level, all the 1450 wards across the country. And so when we are recruiting the beneficiaries, we make sure that we share opportunities across, equal opportunities across each and every ward, especially where an interest has been expressed. Then the second track under enhancing youth employability, which is targeting skilling again, or rather retooling and skills enhancements, is on-job experience. On-job experience is where you find a young person demonstrated interest in a particular sector or in a particular industry. We attach them to craftsmen, trainers, yeah? and these are people who have got experience, who are skilled in that particular sector. They take you through, they teach you, you learn on job. You get practical experience of that particular sector. You also get to understand the ecosystem, the way it is, where the various forces, market forces in that ecosystem, so that you gain experience, you gain skills, knowledge, and the necessary exposure you need to stand by your own. That particular track is targeting to benefit 90,000 young people, again, from the age bracket that I talked about earlier, 18 to 29 and up to 35 for persons with disability, again, across the Republic and drawn from each and every ward in this country. So, and then now we go to the second pathway of expanding youth employment opportunities, which has got a track of business support, where we aim at creating youth entrepreneurs, and I think this is the most popular one, which is already active, already has been rolled out. The one that everybody, when they talk about Nyota, they think is only that component. No, there's several other components, skilling, on-job experience, but this one, because it was business, and we rolled out earlier than the rest, so it's gained that kind of attention and traction. So here we target to create, and I'm using the word creating deliberately. We want to create 100,000 entrepreneurs across the country. We'll draw them in each and every ward. We're targeting 70 per ward. We want to build a business ecosystem of at least 70 young entrepreneurs in each and every ward, so that then we can get to stimulate economic growth across the country. And what we do, we take them through basic business skills and classroom training, and then from there they are mentored with the experts, who have got demonstrated expertise and experience in business development for a period of 2 months. They come back to classroom training, and then eventually they'll be mentored again. So they're going to be subjected to classroom training, both classroom training and mentorship, which is more like hand-holding. We do not assume that, we work with you throughout the process, so that then you can get to conceptualize your business ideas and launch it out properly. And then we make sure that you are supported to gain entry into the larger business ecosystem, so that then you can get to scale up your businesses, to create your own job and create jobs for others. So this particular component also provide a startup capital of 50,000, which is disbursed in 2 installments. After the first classroom training, then you're given the 25,000. Of course, we net off the savings, which is 12%, which is 3,000. So you'll get 22,000. As we say, business and savings go hand to hand.
And then my final question to you, because as you mentioned this, the road to Singapore and MSMEs will wonder, where is our space when it comes to the road to Singapore? When you take a look at Singapore, for example, the kind of challenges it has is the high cost of financing, the lack of creditworthiness. It has, the MSMEs contributes about 50% of its GDP. When you compare Kenya and Singapore, are we better than Singapore? And should we even be thinking that Do we need to copy Singapore?
Well, we are not better than Singapore as at now, because we must agree it's a first world, and we are a third world, isn't it? The major challenge that MSME have been experiencing is stunted growth. So I said MSMEs constitute 98% of all businesses in Kenya. 77% of that are micro, and most of them are informal. In Singapore, you will not get such kind of distribution. You'll find that it's fairly distributed, MSMEs are growing and they're scaling up. Now, what we need to do is to address some of these challenges. How do we unlock access to affordable credit? And I think this is what the policy intervention like Hustler Fund is doing. You don't want to look at Hustler Fund from how much money the loan limit, but you're looking at the experience, the credit histories, the profile that we are enabling Kenyans to build, and the relationship that we are helping them to build now with the bank, so that now they start gaining trust in them, in the sectors, and in the young people who are the majority players, and in the women who do businesses, small-scale businesses, and now willing to support them, taking risk on them, giving them more credit, more enhanced credit, so that they can then invest and expand their business. This is that's the kind of support that we need to do to MSMEs to hit the Singapore in that area. How do we hit Singapore again? By opening up markets, expanding access to guaranteed markets. When we go big as a government and invest in development projects like roads, like affordable housing projects, even beyond just providing us with decent settlement and housing and organizing our physical landscape, they're creating massive demand for the locally produced products. For example, our affordable housing project, we have ring-fenced raw materials, the doors and windows, to the juakalis, the local manufacturers and juakalis, to the tune of more than 11 billion. And you're looking at that amount, that market, the total market value, that our MSMEs, juakalis, people who could not even imagine that they can create a dough that can be used to in such a massive and project. We have now given them an opportunity. So our MSME who are in that space, they don't just have access to a guaranteed market that is likely to be there for some time because of our targets that we have to setting up this, establishing affordable housing across the country in each and every constituency, at least looking at least having a minimum of 200 units. But they also have now an opportunity to improve on their product development. And they build some level of competitiveness that in future now Kenya could be a destination for doors and windows in the region. Because you see now, we're doing mass production, and the demand is there, the guaranteed market is there, the buyer who is government is there, and the doors that, for example, they are making this year they will improve. This is how you gain a certain competitive of certain products, then you become a destination. Today people are looking at the European standards, the German standards. Time will come when people will be looking at the Kenyan standards. And this is how now you grow and you embark on that journey for going to Singapore, because you've created opportunities to improving your product development, your products in the market. You make them become more refined for the global market. And when you go to global market, now you become also a net exporter as opposed to a net importer. And so you see now your balance of trade now becomes something that people can now discuss. You achieve the balance of trade in that space. By doing that also, you venture into industrialization. You start going big into manufacturing. You start doing value addition. You start selling finished products, value-added products, because you are now doing manufacturing in your country, creating more jobs for your population, because now you are not just exporting the raw material, you are exporting finished products, and these finished products has created jobs opportunities for your population. So when we channel out our graduates, we know we are channeling them out because we have a space, we have our industry growing all over. You've seen we've gone big on CAIPs, Counter Aggregation and Industrial Park, to unlock the unique value chain in each and every county and to act as an aggregation centers for industrial output. So people will come there and say, okay, this kind of raw materials can be produced here. So we have massive opportunities here. We bring investors. We do not just concentrate them in Nairobi here or in major cities, but we make sure that decentralized all over the country so that the country can grow. And the various unique value proposition across the country can now be harnessed. This is how you reach to Singapore. And you know, it is just a question of how do you decide to organize your economy. Do you want to centralize your economy in one place as it has been? Do you also want to go, to still get beholden to the traditional sectors that you've always had? Like in this country, we've been just talking about cash crops, but even those cash crops, tea, coffee, maybe pyrethrum, flowers and everything, all of those we have been exporting heavily the raw materials. So we deny our population an opportunity, an industrial opportunity to get jobs, to grow. We deny our farmers an opportunity to earn more, to get heavy returns from them because we are selling very low, because it's just the raw materials that we're taking there. They go there, they get manufactured, they add value, and they come back to sell to us. So we want to do that in our space. We have the human capital, we have the intent, we have the entrepreneurial spirit, we have good climatic condition, and we have the best political goodwill. His Excellency the President with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, who is very much charged and knows that it is possible for us to achieve the status of Singapore, South Korea, Malaysia, and even beyond.
You can look at the camera in front of you. As Kenyans watch this getting into the festive season, you've outlined what they expect as we head into Singapore and even the global market, and even in 2026. What would be your message to them this festive season?
My message is that last year around this time we are saying this will be the year for takeoff, and indeed Kenyans, you can agree with us, with the government, that we are taking off. We have taken off, looking at the various projects that now are coming to fruition. You're looking at affordable housing. You look everywhere, you can see. On the financial access space, you've seen the milestone that we have achieved, the circulation that Hustler Fund has become, and even in terms of saving, you've seen the way it has become an opportunity for many Kenyans to just save on the platform. We're talking about voluntary saving that has risen to almost 650 million. In just 3 years, micro savers, Kenyans, showing that Kenyans also have now gotten an opportunity which they did not have before. We're looking forward to charge ahead. We are ready to charge ahead because there is nothing absolutely that will stop us. I know when we started off implementing our programs, everybody was like not so much sure about this, certain about this, because everybody was complaining about their pockets, and we've earned names from that, all those manner of names because of taxation. But you see now, we've started seeing the benefits of it, and all the hard work that Kenyans have put into all this process the last 3 years has started bearing fruits. Last week we were in Mukuru kwa Njenga, where we saw a number over 4,500 slum dwellers now coming into some sort of decent habitat. And I think this is the Singapore that people are looking forward towards it. Besides that, you look at the opportunities that comes with such development milestone. They're good for businesses. Like I've said, in the just building and construction sector, we have Juakali people now who have acquired a guaranteed market. They're able to supply to the contractors, and this is also reflects on their businesses as they grow, create jobs opportunities for them. This is how you expand our tax bracket and get more people from the bottom of the economic pyramid also to rise up. And if you, the more the merrier, as they say, if we come in a big way, what happens is that we start easing the burden here at the top. So, and I know next year is going to be, you're going to start feeling that the relaxation, a little bit that relief in our pockets, because we have now many people who are coming into the tax bracket. And this is the bottom up that we preached, and this is the bottom up and the promise that we are now implementing. So for MSME, it is the MSME sector, it is the sector to come in, to get your job, help us to create job. We're going to partner with you. So there's quite a lot that is lined up for next year. So make sure as you go around merrymaking, please do it responsibly so that we meet again next year, and we together we join efforts in growing this beloved country.
As you head into 2026, it not only focuses on what the State Department will do for you, but what you will do for the country. I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyirungita. Thank you very much for watching.